The silence was what struck Archivist Vorntal first. The vast council chamber of the Galactic Archive, once filled with the bioluminescent glow of 1,000 species, now sat dark and empty. His crystalline fingers trembled as he recorded the final entry, his compound eyes reflecting the dying light of civilization itself. The Cascade, they called it. A microscopic horror that had swept through the galaxy like wildfire through dead grass. It started in the outer reaches, consuming the Keltharian Empire in 3 rotations, then the Xiphoid Collective, then the ancient Morpheus Dominion, species that had survived supernovas, cross-dimensional rifts, and conquered entropy itself, all reduced to cellular sludge within days of exposure. Vorntal had watched them all fall. His purpose as an archivist was to observe, to record, never to interfere. But what good were records when there was no one left to read them? His console chirped, a transmission from Sector 7743, the Sol system. The humans. Those strange, violent primates who had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 cycles ago. The youngest spacefaring species in the known galaxy, and somehow impossibly, still alive. This is Dr. Elena Cross of the United Earth Medical Corps, transmitting on all frequencies. The voice crackled through the speakers. We've analyzed the samples you sent us. We know why you're dying, and we know why we're not. Vorntal's membranes flickered with something he hadn't felt in months. Hope. Dr. Elena Cross stood in the biocontainment lab, staring at the microscopic killer that had ended civilizations. The Cascade virus was elegant, terrifyingly so. It targeted cellular replication mechanisms common to 99% of known life forms, hijacking their DNA and turning their own cells into factories of death. But not human cells. It's beautiful, in a horrifying way, Elena muttered, adjusting the electron microscope. Her colleagues, the few who remained after the initial panic, gathered around her workstation. Doctor, the Galactic Archive is waiting for your report, her assistant reminded her nervously. They've lost another 3 species since yesterday. Elena nodded grimly. 3 species. Billions of lives. Gone. She activated the holocom and the translucent form of Archivist Vorntal materialized before her. He looked worse than the last time they'd spoken. His crystalline structure showing stress fractures. His bioluminescence dim and flickering. Archivist, Elena began, her voice steady despite the weight of what she was about to reveal. I know why we're immune. Vorntal leaned forward, his entire being focused on her words. The Cascade virus targets a specific genetic sequence present in almost all complex life forms, a sequence that optimizes cellular efficiency and longevity. It's what allowed your species and countless others to evolve beyond your planetary limitations. But humans... She paused, pulling up a holographic display of human DNA. We don't have that sequence. I don't understand. Vorntal's voice synthesizer crackled. How did your species achieve space travel without genetic optimization? Elena laughed, a sound both bitter and proud. We didn't need it. Do you know what the average human lifespan was 2,000 years ago, Archivist? 30 years. 30 years of disease, starvation, warfare, and environmental catastrophe. We evolved in a crucible of suffering that would have exterminated any other species. She pulled up comparative charts, showing disease after disease that had ravaged humanity throughout history. The Black Death, smallpox, influenza, HIV, COVID-19. Every pandemic, every plague, every microscopic killer forced us to adapt or die. Our immune systems aren't elegant or efficient, they're brutal, chaotic, and redundant. We have backup systems for our backup systems. Our bodies treat everything foreign as a potential threat and respond with overwhelming force. Vorntal processed this information, his mind racing. So the virus that kills us can't even get through our front door, Elena finished. The Cascade tries to hijack our cells, but our immune system recognizes it as just another Tuesday. Our white blood cells, our antibodies, our entire inflammatory response, it's all overkill by galactic standards. But it's what kept us alive long enough to reach the stars. She pulled up another image, a human white blood cell engulfing a Cascade virus particle. We call it phagocytosis. Our cells literally eat invaders. And if that doesn't work, we have adaptive immunity. And if that doesn't work, we have a dozen other redundant systems ready to throw everything at the problem until it's dead. Inefficient, Vorntal whispered. using a term that in his culture was the highest insult. Absolutely, Elena agreed with a fierce smile. But we're still here. The silence stretched between species, between survivor and dying civilization. Finally, Vorntal spoke. Can you save us? Elena's expression hardened with determination. We're going to try. Our research suggests we can synthesize antibodies from human plasma. It won't be elegant and it won't be easy, but humanity has never done anything the easy way. She pulled up logistics reports, showing Earth's industrial capacity being converted to medical production. Factories that once built weapons now produce synthesizers. Agricultural stations retooled to cultivate antibody-rich cultures. Billions of humans volunteering for plasma donation. We're mobilizing everything we have, Elena continued. Every ship, every resource, every stubborn human who refuses to watch the galaxy die. We've survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and our own stupidity. We'll survive this too, and so will you. Vorntal felt his bioluminescence strengthen for the first time in months. Why, he asked simply. We barely acknowledged your species. Many called you primitives, barely worthy of contact. Elena's eyes softened. Because that's what humans do. We're contrary, stubborn creatures who refuse to follow the rules, including the rule that says we should abandon you to your fate. Besides, she added with a grim smile, we've had practice saving the world. This time we just have to save a few thousand more. 6 cycles later, the first human medical ships arrived at the Galactic Archive. They were ugly, retrofitted cargo vessels covered in warning labels and biohazard symbols. But to Vorntal, they looked like salvation itself. Dr. Elena Cross materialized via holocom on his command deck, looking exhausted but triumphant. First batch of antibody treatments is ready for distribution, she reported. It's not a cure, more like a controlled war inside your cells, but it's keeping our trial groups alive. Vorntal looked at the humans working in hazmat suits. Their brutal, inefficient biology somehow the key to galactic survival. They moved with purpose, with determination, with a refusal to accept defeat that his species had lost somewhere in their millions of years of peaceful evolution. The galaxy owes humanity an unpayable debt, he said formally. Elena shook her head. No debt. Just remember this when the next crisis comes. The species you dismiss as primitive, violent, or inefficient might just be the ones crazy enough to save everyone. As the treatment began spreading through the surviving populations, Vorntal added a final entry to his archive. Today, the youngest species in the galaxy taught us that survival isn't about perfection. It's about being too stubborn to die. Somewhere in the biocontainment lab, Dr. Elena Cross smiled and got back to work. There was a galaxy to save, and humanity had never been good at accepting impossible odds.